Hambini fans, and welcome to my new weekly slot, which I've decided to call Hambini Sunday Reaming, aka the bike industry as a whole. By Hambini, aged 5. Let's check that pen is working before we get down to business. The pen is on fire, baby. Right. Firstly, a big UK bike distributor has gone bust. So that distributor is More and Large. So this is their website, and you can see it's all gone now because the administrators have taken over, and there is apparently 35,000 bikes up for sale. So as you watch this, there's an auction for 35,000 bikes, and all in all 35 million quid. So we're getting on for like $40 million worth of bikes and other crap for auction. So someone's about to have a field day. I hope it doesn't go the same way as Bowman, where they sold all of those stuff for really, really cheap and ended up on the market, and there was a litany of insurance claims after that. This is More and Large's filings with the outfit called Companies House in the UK, which is, I think, is like the SEC in the States, so where companies go and submit their accounts and stuff. I mean, I had a look through this. Some of the numbers in here are completely staggering. So this is their accounts. So they're based in Derby. And after you go through to the first page, their profit for last year, so this is the last year that I've actually got numbers for, was 5.2 million quid. Okay, that might not sound much. The year before it was £534,000. So it has gone up tenfold, or had gone up tenfold, and they paid 2.9 million, so almost 3 million quid in dividends versus £465,000 the year before. So it's made, you know, the directors or the shareholders of that company quite a lot of money. Because they've gone bust and a limited company in the UK has limited liability, all that money is safe, basically. It's gone. Next, Boonen says Colnago are shite. Well, he didn't actually say that, but he implied they were shite. So some of the comments he made about Colnago, if you haven't known about this, on some podcast somewhere, on some channel that I don't watch or possibly even understand, I think it might have been in Flemish, him and his mate Dick something, I think that's right, maybe wrong, does it really matter, no one cares, said that if Pogacar was on, let's say, I think it was a Specialized, a Cervelo or some other brand, he would be winning more. And he was, the basic disparaging comment was, Boonen said the Colnago bike was not up to it. So Colnago, what they did was this. They challenged Boonen to come along to their headquarters, and it actually says who it was now. It was Dirk de Wolf, not Dick de Wolf, to come along and ride the bike and to talk about it. Boonen kind of got off his mantle, if that's the right word, and said, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry. Mea culpa," something in Latin. Don't understand what the rest of it is, and what not. Now, those of you who are, you know, familiar with the channel will know that Boonen is the face of classified hubs, and that brings me on to this. A couple of weeks ago I put a video out where I questioned the power efficiency of the classified hub, and I almost think they phoned up David Arthur to put a video out himself where he, you know, did what David Arthur does in his, you know, posh voice. And disc rim brakes and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the crux of it was Classified claim their gearbox is like 99.5% efficient or something like that. They also invited me to Belgium to go and have a look. So I replied back and said, yeah, let's pick a day. Let's go for it. I haven't heard anything since. I haven't heard anything since. It's been 10 days. I've sent the first email to say, yeah, let's do it. And then I sent another one to say, I haven't heard anything about the first email. You know, what are we doing? So, you know, I haven't heard anything since. You know, he may be on holiday. He might have some sort of problem. He might be with his hairdresser, you know, big marks if he's with his hairdresser, all that kind of stuff. Don't know. So that's where we are. Now, if we do, now, to be honest, the results that they've posted on their webpage, and I'll link to it below, are somewhat dubious, okay? So they're quoting this ultra high efficiency, okay, on a crank speed of 110 RPM. 110, that's like 2 crank revolutions every second, almost. You can see I can do the maths there. And a power input of 46 watts. So you are pedaling like the clappers, okay, with fuck all torque applied. So how's that going to happen? 46.2 watts. Yeah, I think I worked it out. It was like 3 Newton meters of torque. I might have got that wrong. If someone knows what the exact answer is, I mean, it's 3/10 of fuck all. So I don't know what they were thinking. Now, the gearbox efficiency or inefficiency is largely related down to bending stresses and friction. Both of those will increase with increased torque because, I mean, if you took an object, let's call it a plank of wood, put it on a surface, okay, and you try and pull it, you've got a friction force there, yeah, that's trying to pull you back. That friction force is F equals mu R. So that friction force is mu, which is friction coefficient, not really going to change, and R is the reaction. The reaction is basically the weight of the object. If you make the weight of the object more, then F goes up. Obviously, when you're under load, you are putting more weight, more force through those components, the pin bushings, all that, and that's where we end up. So I'm not totally convinced with their results, but I've left the opening there for me to go to Belgium and then have a look, and they haven't responded. And I also asked for a test one, which I could take apart, and they also didn't respond to that. Take that from what you will. Now we have SRAM, and they have lost to Princeton Carbon Works. So if you remember the wavy rim shape, is it the Zip 454? And the Princeton Carbon Works, I can't remember the exact number, but basically SRAM have lost. So however much that lawsuit cost them, they're not going to get that back. And I believe in the States, Princeton have to pay their fees too. So they'll have lost a few $1 million in legal fees. I think the net winner there has been the lawyers. Now we come on to this, which is, it was sent in to me by a viewer who describes himself as a random punter on his bike from the Isle of Man while he was tailing ROGLIC en route to go and bang his hairdresser. So we now have to talk about this one. So anyway, let's roll this. He's probably wishing that he'd stuck with Shimano after that. I've decided to call this section the weekly bodge. So if you have a submission for the weekly bodge, do get in touch. This comes from a chap who needed a flap sander and he didn't have one. So he used, this is brilliant. He used some 400 grit, it looks like emery paper to me, or let's call it sandpaper, a broom handle, and like a metal fixing, I don't know what they're called, something in woodwork, like a wedge-shaped wooden fixing thing. The first thing he did was he chopped his missus's broom handle up. Now what I like about this is the attention to detail. So he's triangulated from the broom handle to find the middle. Now if you're not familiar with what that is all about, let me explain. If you take a circle and you take a right angled object, so let's say a piece of paper, and you put it in so it touches, you end up with that, and then make a mark where it goes, you end up with the diameter of the circle. If you do that a couple of times, you'll get another diameter and you'll find the middle. And that is what he's done there. So, you know, that I thought that was quite good. Then he's put some slits in here and that sort of wing nut metal thing, and then cut the paper up really accurately to get it in. And then finally, this is it. This is in his pillar drill. And I thought this was brilliant. Now, one thing that I wasn't quite sure, and I was hoping he would do, but he didn't do, is I was hoping he would put the flaps in the wrong way. So they were flapping the wrong way, anti-clockwise, so they fly out, but he didn't. So Louis, well done for that. I think you get a pat on the back for that one. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Hambini's Sunday Reaming. If you did enjoy it, remember to smash that like button. If you didn't, go screw yourself. And as always, keep banging your hairdresser.